case of a 8-year-old boy had a both bone forearm fracture presented to an orthopedic friend of mine who had not attended any positive meetings and had done fixation of this fracture with a tense nail. By closed means no, this fracture was not an open fracture, it was a closed fracture managed by closed fixation. Unfortunately, patient and the surgeon noted a pus discharge from the fracture site for around 6 weeks, and he kept on giving oral medications until around 12 weeks of from the surgery, noticed a sequestrum. Now, what you will do? Patient is presenting 3 months from the
Anybody
surgery.
other than the guys who answered so far, I think that section is not answering too much. If the postgraduates don't answer, then Akash Tiwari will have to go for it. I will jump to the next level. Hello, why did you withdraw your hand? Now you ask him only. No. Oh, come on, it's just a discussion between peers.
First things first, we'll remove the implant.
Okay.
And we'll give a thorough wash and debridement.
Yeah.
And I think sequestrectomy, and that's about it.
Yeah. Anything, if you remove sequestrum, what about the gap?
We'll cast it. We'll give probably a slab or a cast.
All right. So, okay. Similarly, procedure. So I did a stage procedure. I did implant removal, debrided, radical debridement of all the infected tissue, removed the avascular bone, the infected bone, and filled up the gap with the antibiotic impregnated cement, that's Tumulan. Followed it up to from 3 months to 6 months of surgery till I got, there was no infection, all the inflammatory infective markers were normal, and there was a gap non-union now at 6 months.
Before we move a little, let's have one of the more experienced guys tell us about their experience with stimulant. Atul?
Actually, stimulant works very well in osteomyelitis, and we've got cases where suppose one of the cortex is intact and there's a sequestrum of one of the cortex only. When we can remove that cortex and the bone is stable, it works very well.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything. Now this particular case, I think the sequestrum involved circumferentially.
Circumferentially, yeah.
So you got a gap, and now you've got a non-union, which is, you assume all the parameters are normal, the clinical is quiescent.
Yeah.
Then you have to go ahead and then reconstruct it.
Yeah.
Obviously with bone
So
grafting.
would you have, Binoti is also I think raising a hand, would you have added anything primarily at this stage with the stimulant?
The first step?
With stimulant?
With
No,
stimulant.
when you remove the implant?
Yeah.
No, I won't have added actually anything.
Binoti?
Because you want, if there's infection around the implant and you had a circumferential sequestrum, at the most you have to put a fixator.
So that was the only point I was trying to make. You could span it with a fixator
But you
to
have another
maintain
bone
length.
intact. See, the other bone is intact. So your fixator will really not do
acts as a
much,
strut.
to be honest.
Yeah, Binoti, you want to add something?
Yeah, similar to stimulant, the muscular technique in children works very well. So if you have a good cement block, when you remove it, you have a good membrane,
Yeah.
you know, biological membrane where then easily the bone graft will work. So something like that. And as he rightly said, one bone, so stability was not an issue, but it was femur tibia, then additional stability would have worked.
Yeah. So what I did was I did a free fibula grafting. I sharpened the edges, bone edges, made it matching with the fibula, got a 3 centimeters of fibula harvested and fixed with a plate. This is the 12 months follow-up from the fixation. Good union, no infections, and I did an implant removal after 12 months from the index surgery. This is a full range of motion. Patient has full pronosupination, elbow flexion extension. So there are a couple of papers. One is of which MAM's paper in reconstruction of bone defects after osteomyelitis. They also did a stage sequestrotomy and non-vascular fibula grafting. Another paper by Dr. Venkat Das on technique of an osteoperiosteal fibula grafting, where he used the fibula along with the periosteum of the fibula along with the fibula, the different technique. Couple of papers on vascularized fibula graft. So important to note is when you do a vascularized fibula graft and when you do a non-vascular, a free fibula graft. So if the bone defect is less than 5 centimeters or maybe up to 3 centimeters, you can get away with a free fibula graft. And when the bone defect is more than 5 to 6 centimeters, do a vascularized fibula graft. So this is what ma'am was saying, that induced membrane technique. In pediatric population, in the literature only, it is most of the cases are after cancer surgeries. So they have done muscular technique. So the take-home message is whenever you have an infected non, do a stage procedure. Make sure that there is no infection. Remove all the infected granulation, infected tissue. Do a radical debridement, and then you can manage the bone defect by various methods like fibula grafting or by membrane induced membrane technique. Fibula grafting is advocated when the bone loss is less than 4 centimeters. It's a relatively simple and with a short learning curve. Most of the orthopedic surgeons can do it. Vascular fibula grafting is advocated when the bone defect is more than 5 to 6 centimeters, usually done by plastic surgeon, so very difficult and very high learning curve. Thank you.
Good, very, very.